Hi.
I missed you. I was all the way the other end of the couch.
Yeah, but I can't look at you while I talk.
It's really far away.
Because, like, if I look at you while I'm here...
Yeah, it's like a full side profile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're lucky, though. You have, like, a decent side profile. My side profile makes me want to cry.
You have a good side profile.
I do not.
You do, too.
I have no chin. My chin collapses in on itself.
No, it doesn't. You got a little chin right here. Look. Boop.
Okay. Hello, my divergent darlings. Happy New Year. I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry I have not been on YouTube the entire month of December. As some of you may know, I got myself a puppy. So that's been keeping me pretty occupied. It's going really well. I love her very much. I hope to talk in the future about service dog stuff because she is a service dog candidate. But yeah, I'm ending the year on a pretty good note. I just want to take a second to say thank you so much for all the support you guys have given me in 2020. I'm rolling out the year with over 75,000 subscribers on TikTok, which is wild. We're at 26,000 on Instagram, which is amazing. And I think we're about at 500 here, which, considering I only have done a couple of videos, I'm super happy with. So thank you so much for all of the support. I never in a zillion years thought I would get here, so thanks. My coffee shop is restocked, so there are plentiful stickers for you guys to choose between. I'm hoping to have more merch rolling in the new year, so that'll be pretty exciting, maybe a sweatshirt or two. I decided to do something a little bit different for this video. I get a lot of questions about my relationship with my boyfriend, Steph. There's a lot to dating, and I feel super lucky that I found the awesome partner that I did. So, we're gonna interview him, put him in the hot seat today. Thank you so much for coming and agreeing to do this interview. No?
No?
No, whatever creepy thing you were about to do, don't do it.
Okay.
Alright, so, I have here a list of questions, very official. And we're just gonna dive right in. We're going completely blind into these questions. I have not let him read any of them.
Sadly.
Yeah, let's do it. So, what was your first impression of me when we first met?
The first time we met, we were in a class together, and I thought you were really smart and really articulate, and you knew a lot about what we were talking about in class that day. And I was impressed.
It's because I'm impressive. After we started to talk as friends, did you suspect I was neurodivergent in some way?
You were pretty forthcoming about your ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So there was never a thought that you were, like, neurotypical.
The first time you saw me in an upset state for something that wouldn't typically warrant that kind of upset in other people, what went through your mind?
Honestly, I've suffered panic attacks and meltdowns myself, and I just kind of assumed it was a panic attack or that you were feeling big feelings, and, I have those situations too.
So I remember when I first was talking about my ADHD to you, when we started to get close, I remember you told me you did research on it. You told me, you told me that you read up on my ADHD. Mm-hmm. Walk me through that a little bit.
You had been using terms that I've never really heard before, like rejection sensitivity. There were a couple other things that I did not know encompassed ADHD. I just kind of thought it was short attention span, hyperfixations, and then that was kind of all I really knew about it. So when you started throwing around these terms that I just had no idea, I figured it was time to learn up.
Okay, but why did you decide to do that? Because some people would just kind of shrug their shoulders and be like, well, I just don't get it. Why did you not just settle for I don't get it?
Well, because you're not the only person with ADHD in my life, and I felt that if there was something I could do to make the people around me feel a little bit more understood, you especially, I should be doing it.
So the very first time that I told you I might be autistic was I showed you this graphic that I had found on Instagram that I related to a lot, and all of the points were traits of ASD.
Mm-hmm.
When I showed that to you and we first had that conversation, what went through your mind?
Well, first I have to fact check you. That wasn't the first time you told me you thought you were autistic.
No?
No, I was driving to the grocery store on the way home from work, and I went to go get the pad thais you like from Wegmans.
Yeah.
And you called me and you said, we're having a conversation. You said, I found this thing on Instagram and like it really explains everything. I think I'm autistic.
There's no way that that's the first time that I told you I was autistic, because I was literally terrified to have that conversation with you. There was no way the first time I did that was over the phone. No, it can't be, because I remember showing you that graphic.
I remember you telling me it, and then because you called me and you were upset, and then you said, I found this thing online, I'll show you when you get home. I just kind of remember pulling into the grocery store parking lot and being like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Autism is Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, not my girlfriend. And because I was uneducated, like, you know what I mean?
Well, so was I.
Exactly.
So that's fair.
And I remember thinking of that and then just kind of like writing it off for a little bit. And then when I got home and you showed me that graphic and you kind of like, everything, like the puzzle pieces started to click, my mind changed really quickly.
Yeah, but don't you remember, okay, the way that I remember that conversation going was I said, I showed you, I went through the thing with you,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like flipping through, and at the end is when it says these are symptoms of ASD. And I thought I remembered that being like a reveal, because like I didn't say it. And then I remember you were like, why do you think you're autistic? And I was so anxious that even you just like asking a question about it made me totally shut down.
Yeah, see, I remember it differently. I remember like coming home and like, we saying our pleasantries. I give you a kiss. I sat down on the bed and said, well, why do you think you're autistic?
Oh,
and
you know
then,
what? Yeah, you're right.
And then then it was like radio silence.
You're right.
And then you showed me the graphic, and then I was like, okay, this is starting to make sense.
No, you didn't say that, because I remember that shutdown totally happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe I'm remembering the order wrong, but that shutdown moment totally happened, because I remember it so vividly, because you're the first person that I ever vocalized it
Mm-hmm.
to, ever. So when, you didn't respond with like, yeah, let me write you a diagnosis for that. My brain was like, wow, you're crazy. Why would you think that? Like, I just remember having like a total like, never mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, I do recall that.
Yeah, and I remember just being like literally like shutting that conversation down and locking it in a metal box for like a week.
Yeah, and I remember thinking it was weird that we just didn't talk about it.
Yeah, that
like,
we just weren't going to talk about it.
We just weren't going to talk about it for and then slowly we started to unpack the box.
Yeah.
And that's when everything came out, like everything more came up. But it was definitely an interesting car ride home, thinking, why does my girlfriend think she's autistic? Like,
yeah.
What happened that I missed while I was at work for 6 hours? Was it before quarantine?
No, it had to have been March.
Yeah.
Because I downloaded TikTok in April.
Yeah.
And that was when I started like getting more confident in my feelings that I was autistic.
Yeah,
so yeah, it was
sense.
probably like March.
Yeah. So like for us, shutdown happened early March, and so I remember being in lockdown and like panicking about a million different things, and then thinking like, why does my girlfriend think that she's autistic?
Yeah. Like I took you asking a question as an immediate
dismissal.
Yeah, exactly. So once, I started seeing a therapist, and once, our suspicions started getting confirmed, we started learning more and learning the language and everything. How did it feel to finally have a framework of understanding?
I had mixed emotions about that. First off, I was relieved that we finally had like language to talk about how you were feeling, and that we had a little bit more clarity into what was going on. But I was nervous because autism comes with a stigma, and I was worried about you being stigmatized for having autism. And like I said, I really didn't know autism creators existed.
Yeah.
Like,
Back certain.
I know, so did mine. But I knew that, and I really didn't know a lot about it, so I was worried about the stigma you might receive from saying I'm autistic. But I was very relieved to have that like framework of these words, and I knew what to research now. I knew what to type into Google.
Yeah.
So like the words that were there gave me clarity, because I couldn't just be like, because if you Google, what does it mean when my girlfriend stops talking?
Why girlfriend only eats same frozen meal every day?
Yeah. Is girlfriend healthy?
Yeah.
Question mark? Like now that I had framework and I had words to describe everything, I was more comfortable with everything.
Yeah. So do you feel like anything changed in our relationship once we had this information?
I mean, no, you were autistic before the diagnosis. What changed was the clarity we had when discussing what you were feeling.
Do you feel like our communication got better?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
No.
I felt a lot safer telling you things that I hadn't been comfortable telling anybody, because I felt like I had some kind of like framework of validation for it. It's hard when you feel like it's coming out of nowhere. It's hard to explain that the sound of your toothbrush is causing me physical pain today.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to explain when it doesn't make any sense. But once there was a framework for it, I felt like it was a lot easier.
It was also tools we could use when things were going bad.
Yeah.
There's a ton of things like noise canceling headphones, fidget toys. Geez, getting the Tangled was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when we had those tools, everything kind of, once we started to be able to like purchase the tools needed to help with world existing too loud, noise canceling headphones, everything started to get just, I wouldn't say easier, but definitely there was a plan in place, which made me feel better.
Yeah. Well, it's tough when you see somebody struggling and you have no idea how to help them, and there's nothing that you can do, and you're somebody who's very actionable. Like, you're somebody that when you see a problem, you can't just see the problem. Like, you have to figure out, what can I do to make this less of a problem? And so having those things that it's like, okay, if this is the issue, this is the mitigator. Maybe not the solution, but it helps. I felt like that it allowed us to have some more like teamwork for those struggles.
Absolutely.
Answer this question honestly. My feelings will not be hurt.
Yes, they will.
I promise I'm extremely professional.
Okay. What do we got?
Does having to provide a not insignificant amount of support for your significant other ever feel like a burden to you?
No. Like the best way I can say is this is no.
Okay. But there's gotta be at least occasionally where I'm having a day where the feeling of my pants being too tight makes me cry. There's gotta be points during those times where you're just like, can you just not do this today?
I have frustrations, but I never see them as a burden. Like, I think that any human alive can get frustrated, it's when you start to hold resent towards those frustrations that something becomes like a burden. And I never resent you for your toothbrush being too loud, or my cooking being a little too loud, or I'm a loud person. I'm a big loud person, and sometimes I have to tone it down because it upsets you, and I do it because I love you, and because I love you, it's not a burden. If I had to do it for some random stranger on the street, it might be a burden, but because it's you, it's not.
That was cute. That was a good answer. So, how do you explain to other people that you're dating an autistic person? Or do you just not mention it ever?
I don't go out of my way to bring it up. And not for any other reason but that the world is vastly uneducated when it comes to the topic. Obviously, with you having a ever-growing social media presence, it's kind of hard for me to avoid with some people. But I don't, like I said, I don't go out of my way to bring it up to people because A, it's none of their business, and B, if they're uneducated on it, then it's not going to be a pleasant conversation that I want to have with someone. I don't feel it's my job to be an educator to every person off the street. If someone comes to me and asks me, like, hey, I hear your girlfriend's autistic. What does that mean? I will happily have a conversation with them and, like, do everything that I need to do to kind of help them along the journey of learning all the ins and outs. But, like, that being said, I'm not going out of my way to have the conversation with some people.
Yeah. Now, you have some of your own neurodivergencies. Do you ever feel like these specifications of your own neurodivergency clashes with mine?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? That was quick.
Well, I need a lot of distraction when I'm doing a task. I edit all the videos for this channel, and I usually listen to music while I'm editing a video. So listening to audio while I'm listening to music, while watching video.
I have literally watched him have an anime on, one earphone to music, one earphone to the video. I've watched him do all three. And talk to me at the same time.
When that happens to someone without my brain, that could be very chaotic. To me, it's comforting. And I feel like, if you were to walk into that situation where I'm watching an anime while listening to music, while editing a video, and you have to hear all that at once, you'll become very overwhelmed very quickly. This comes back to having the proper tools for a situation, because I have a pair of noise-canceling headphones that let me keep all the noise in, and you have a pair of noise-canceling headphones that keep all the noise out, so I can watch my anime, listen to music, and edit all at the same time, and you can have your one source of sound, one source of audio, and we can coexist without rubbing up against each other's nerves.
Yeah. Do you ever wish that you didn't have to go through all those extra hoops?
No.
Yeah?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Positive?
Positive.
100%?
100%.
1,000,000%?
I mean, the only time is when we're going to bed and I like to watch TV. Because, I would like it just a little bit louder, but if it's any louder, you can't sleep. That's it. That's the only time.
That's fair. That's valid. I'll accept that.
Yeah. Thank you for validating my feelings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. What advice would you have for somebody getting into a relationship with somebody who's autistic?
My advice for someone who is getting into a relationship with someone who is autistic is to do your research, is to really think about everything that you're doing before you do it, because someone with autism feels things differently, and it is your job.
I'm sorry. You're giving really good advice, and I couldn't help but be an ass.
It's your job as their partner to make sure that they are loved and respected, and that that you are a good partner, and that means something differently when your partner is autistic.
What have you learned about yourself in year-ish plus change that we've been together?
I've learned a lot about myself, but the most all-encompassing thing that I've learned is that it is okay to have big feelings, and it's okay to feel those feelings in a real way, because it's something I really never did in the past. And being with you and coming on this journey with you and learning so much has just allowed me to relearn how to feel that stuff, because I'm sure as a child I knew how to feel my feelings because that's all you really knew as a child. But you lose that because you're expected to work and get things done, and in our society we have no time for feelings. But going on this journey with you has definitely taught me how to re-feel them.
Oh, I'm glad.
I'm glad too.
Yeah. If I had known, like when we first started talking, if I had already been diagnosed as autistic at that point, and I had disclosed that to you early on, do you think it would have changed anything?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
At all?
No.
Really?
Really.
But you told me you didn't know a whole lot about autism at that point. If I had disclosed to you early on, when you knew nothing about autism, that I was autistic,
No.
it wouldn't change anything.
Not at all. Well, think about it. You told me you had ADHD.
Yeah, but that's different.
You told me you battled with depression. You told me you had good days and bad days. I knew you were sick a lot, and at the time we thought it was much worse than celiac disease.
They thought I had lupus. I didn't, thankfully.
So I became your friend knowing all of that stuff, and when we started talking in a more of a relationship-esque, we were already such good friends that none of that stuff mattered anyway. Our feelings would have been big either way. Why are you doing?
It's our butterfly of feelings. It's our feelings butterfly. Flapping free, growing, prospering.
I'm leaving this in.
Any regrets?
All of them! No. No. No regrets. No regrets at all. 100% full-hearted no.
I have a regret.
What was that?
If I could do it all over again, I would like our first year of a major relationship, not our first year of knowing each other, but first year of our major relationship to not be during a pandemic.
Oh, you're talking about just like 2020 in general? I thought you meant like specifically as pertaining to your autism.
No, I did.
Oh, then, I mean, yeah, I would fucking love it if my anxiety wasn't at 1,000,000 at all times because there's a deadly virus going around the United States. But, you know...
It'd be what it be.
It'd be what it be.
Well, thank you so much. This was a very enlightening interview. No! I appreciate you so much for coming out to the studio today. Any closing remarks for the people?
Be kind to yourself. Go easy on yourself. Drink some water. And if you want to see Beck being silly, you can follow my TikTok at GrindPays. And if you want to see a new channel I'm starting called Dating Divergent, that's on there too.
And there's Piper to close us out. Take care, everybody.
Happy New Year! Piper, say hi to the people at home.
Look at this. Look at this puppy.
Okay. We gotta go potty.
She's a joy, truly.